Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is one of the stars of Lifetime's newest reality show, Preacher's Daughters. And she gives the audience an open and honest look into her life and her past as she tries to move forward in Christ. And she's here today to talk about her new show. I want you to help me welcome Miss Olivia Perry to the show. How you doing, Olivia?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad you were able to join me on the show today. And one of my first questions for you before we go, how did you land the role on The Preacher's Daughters?
It's funny, actually. I think the other two families, sort of not auditioned, but, were looking for it on Facebook or saw an ad about it on Craigslist or something. But actually, it was interesting because Hollywood just kind of knocked on our door. A family member a family that goes to our church, one of their daughters knows someone that works for the production company that we have signed with. So they got in touch with us, and then we just did some phone interviews and then Skype interviews, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. So it was pretty cool.
And, I'm glad you're on there and you're sharing your story because I'm actually doing a TV show and I'm taping it's a talk show. And it's funny because one of the topics that we're doing in June, it's called Babies Having Babies in the Pews. And it's dealing with pastors and ministers whose daughters have gotten pregnant in ministry. So, and they're coming on the show.
Well, how perfect.
I know. and it was amazing how when I started watching your story, it's perfect. And it goes right along with the topic that we're talking about. And the dads are going to be coming on talking about how they felt when their daughters first told them that they were pregnant. And so with that being said, how did you end up telling your father, and what was his reaction when you told him that you were pregnant?
Actually, my dad, we were out to lunch, and he just felt, he just got a word of knowledge from God that he needed to look at my phone. So he asked me for my phone, and he read a text that just came in, and it said, "So you're keeping the baby." And so he looked up at me and said, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, I couldn't even speak. I just nodded my head, And it was a second of just silence, and then I started crying, and he just grabbed my hand, looked me in the eye, and said, "Olivia, I love you. I'm here for you. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this." He totally just encouraged me and was so amazing about it. I can't believe how gracious he was.
That's amazing because one of the fathers that's coming on my show, he said he did the same thing to his daughter. And it's just amazing.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, the men's reactions to their daughters, and for you to say that your dad did the same thing. So how is Eden doing?
She's great. She just turned 1 recently, and so she's getting a little bit more sassy personality. So she's a little bit more of a handful than she used to be, but she's still so amazing and super sweet. I love her to death.
And one thing I like about you is because you're very open and honest on the show. And I like that you are very transparent because you even give the intimate details of your relationship. And one thing I have to commend you on, because I don't know how many grown women, I'm talking about in their 30s and 40s, would be willing to go on a show and talk about how, they had sex with 2 people, but didn't know who the father was. Well, why was that important to you to bring that on the show? I got to take my hat off to you because I don't know if I can do that on television. So that took the Lord. So tell us about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was important to be honest about it because, I couldn't, obviously say for sure that I knew, okay, this is the dad. And then, a couple months later when I had to do the paternity test, I'm like, oh, wait, this is the dad. So I just thought it was really important to be honest at the beginning and not keep hiding it and hiding it and hiding it because, the longer you keep a lie, the harder it is to tell the truth. And so I think that it was just really important. And also I've been trying so hard ever since I got pregnant to have a really open relationship with my parents and just, show them that they can trust me because I'm going to tell them and be honest with them about everything. And so, unfortunately that's an embarrassing detail, but I just had to do it.
And I'm glad you did because I think that's going to help a lot of people, your transparency and you actually being open. And it really does show that people who are Christians, we're just real people. We go through the same things that everyone else does. And for you to be a young lady.
Exactly.
Right. And I know your parents growing up imparted so much wisdom to you because, our parents, they talk to us and they tell us things. When you were going through your partying days, did your parents' words ever come back to you, especially now that you have your daughter Eden, to say, wow, they were right? Have you ever had any of those, as they call them,
absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. It's so funny because back then, I was so annoyed when they would tell me things and, they'd be like, we're doing this because we love you. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But like now when I look back, I'm like, wow, they were such good parents. I mean, they would get on my case if I was lying to them, and they would, call out my identity and just tell me that I wasn't being myself. And I mean, they handled it as well as they could have. And I guess I just needed a wake-up call, and that's what I got.
Okay, and realized they were really right. And, it's funny, as we go through, I was talking to my assistant, and we was talking about how we're going through that now, although I'm a little older than you. I'm in my 40s. But talking about how our parents, a lot of stuff that our parents told us as we grow older, was like, wow, they told us about that, but they were right. Because I know, I think I was a hard-headed kid growing up. I really didn't listen a whole lot, but then I found out the hard way, and I'm trying to teach my daughters wisdom. Some things you don't have to go through. Just take my advice, my word for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to do that. So, and your daughter, Eden, does she have a relationship now with her father?
She doesn't, no. Okay. We're still working on it.
Okay. And for you, because I want to talk about your story, because I know each girl has her own story. And I think each girl on the show story is definitely relatable to each and every individual that's out there that's ever been in a PK's home, or as we call them, preacher's kids' homes. For you, growing up in home and your parents were godly people, why did you decide that you wanted to kind of go to the other side of life and have those experiences? Did you feel like there was something that you were missing and everybody looked like they were having fun but you?
Yeah, I felt that way. And also, in high school, you really just want to impress your peers and, fit in. And so whenever I would say, yeah, my dad's a pastor, they'd be like, oh, okay, you must be the good girl. And I hated that. I don't know why. I mean, I was the good girl, but, I just wanted to prove them wrong. And so that's really where it stemmed from. I mean, it was nothing that my parents did or said or what they could have done differently. It was just me and my rebellion. I just really wanted to rebel against that label, but now I love it.
Now, knowing what you know now, going through your experiences, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to a preacher's son or a preacher's daughter going through your experiences and what you said at school? Everybody, labeling you as a preacher's kid, the good girl, and wanted to rebel against that. What advice would you give them?
I would say just own it, because yeah, we are, we are good girls and boys. Like, we don't do bad things, and that's honorable. I think that people should be proud of us for being able to stick true to our beliefs and our values, and it's something to be commended, because it's a hard road to walk. Not partying and not sleeping around and stuff during high school, especially during these times where it's just so common. But I think that they should just stay true to themselves and really believe that the right people will come into their life that will appreciate them for them.
And have you set any boundaries now for yourself? What kind of boundaries have you set for yourself so you don't fall into those situations again?
Oh, I just don't hang out with people that party. It's simple, I just cut off all those people, and that's it.
Oh,
and I have
good.
No opportunity to.
Oh, yeah. See, that's smart. And you're a young lady. You're smart. You learned it. Everybody, please listen and take notes. Hey, one thing I love about the show, Olivia, me and my sister, we were talking because we both watch the show. We're fans of the show. One thing we love about the show is that there's no sensationalism that's in the show. It all seems like it's very pure, and it feels like it's true reality. That's what I get. So hopefully
it is, yeah.
And that's what I feel like your story. It doesn't seem like that was made for TV. It's just your life that we're watching, and we're just living it out with you. And that's what I love about the show. It just feels very real, and it feels authentic to me. And each girl just has their own story. And that's what I really like that Lifetime brought to television. And I just want to, again, thank you for coming on the show. And again, I thank you for the advice that you shared. But one last thing, what is the hardest part for you about being a preacher's daughter?
Like before, I would probably say being in the spotlight, or, I'm sure I could come up with a million answers, but now, there's really no bad thing about it. Like, I just love it. I love, the people that I'm surrounded with who really love me and cherish my values, and I just love my parents who I can tell, really care about me and love me, and, like, there's just not really anything bad about being a preacher's kid now, but yeah.
That's great. And just let everybody know, what are you doing now? Are you in school right now, or are you just taking care of your daughter?
Yeah, I'm actually going to community college and working at my surf shop still. So and taking care of Ethan, of course.
Awesome. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show, Olivia, and we definitely look forward to having you back. I want to remind everyone to make sure that you tune in and watch The Preacher's Daughters on Tuesday on Lifetime. You won't regret it. It's a great show. And again, thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.
It was nice talking to you, too, and have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.